How would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks Podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, bow biologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
Hello, friends, and welcome to today's show. Question: are you getting enough sleep? And wait. Before you answer yes, ask yourself, not the number of hours, but the amount of quality, healthy sleep. Are you waking up rested and rejuvenated? Or do you have trouble falling asleep? Suffer from insomnia or wake up in the middle of the night, unable to fall back asleep? If you answered yes to any of these, you are not alone.
Today, the average American sleeps less than 7 hours a night, about 2 hours less than a century ago. And according to the CDC, more than 80 million American adults are chronically sleep deprived. Oy! So rather than rush to the nearest Starbucks for a triple mocha frappuccino just to get through the day, how about getting to the root of your lost sleep woes once and for all?
What most people ignore is the materials they're sleeping on. Adults spend approximately 8 hours a night sleeping, totaling almost 1/3 of their lives, while babies spend almost 2/3 of their time sleeping. Turns out your mattress and bedding can be a host of biological contaminants and chemicals that can have negative health consequences, not to mention exposing your body to toxic chemicals linked to cancer, fertility problems, hormone disruption, and so much more.
That's right, Ron. And according to a study by Made Safe called Detox Your Sleep, foam mattresses, which you're probably sleeping on, off-gas VOCs, volatile organic compounds, which we're going to get into in today's show, including a chemical manufactured with a poisonous gas originally used as a chemical weapon in World War I that was responsible for many deaths. Baby mattresses are often made with waterproof vinyl, which can off-gas plasticizing phthalates and harmful VOCs directly into the baby's sleep environment. And if that's not enough, sheets labeled wrinkle-free, no wrinkle, easy care, no iron, and other terms can contain a finish of formaldehyde, a known carcinogen.
Someone who has 4 decades of experience investigating and assessing hazardous materials, contamination, resolving environmental problems, and protecting human health, safety, and the environment is our special guest today, Barry Chick. Barry Chick is the founder and the Technical Director of Naturepedic, a manufacturer of award-winning certified organic mattresses, and he has had a lifelong interest in preserving the environment, not only for us, but for all future generations as well. A board-certified environmental engineer, Barry is an advocate for legislative reform and was invited to testify in Washington, D.C. for a congressional subcommittee exploring chemical reform. Barry is also a frequent speaker and thought leader on the benefits of sustainable product design.
Working in tandem with his sons, Barry established Naturepedic in 2003. Barry, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. You know, you guys just made the case for me better than I can ever make it.
It's always better to have someone else tout you. Right?
You're like, well, I'm amazing. That must have been a great feeling to hear all those accomplishments. There you go.
Right. Well, we are so happy to have you, Barry. I know our listeners are going to be so excited about this show, so let's just dive right in. So can you explain to our audience what actually is a conventional mattress? What does that mean when people hear that term?
So let me give you the big picture here. We do not live in the same world that our grandparents lived. In our grandparents' or great-grandparents' homes, everything was cotton and wool, wood, steel. It was natural. Okay, there weren't all these chemicals. The whole world has changed. All right, in the past century, officially, approximately 85,000 chemicals have been invented that never existed before. In reality, it's even more. But we're talking about an incredible amount of chemicals that just never existed. We don't know what they're doing to our bodies. We don't know. We don't know if it's causing cancer. We don't know what it's doing to our kids. We don't know what it's doing to our babies. We don't know what it's doing to anything. And these chemicals are hurting everybody. Now, the chemical people, let me just insert this so we're all clear at the beginning. The chemical people will say, you know what? The dose makes the poison. If the dose is small enough, it can't be a poison.
Right.
And on paper, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
In the classroom, that's correct. If the dose is small enough, but at what dose does this particular chemical start to make trouble? Nobody really knows. So what's true on paper means nothing in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Sometimes the doses can be very small and they can start to hurt you. Nobody really knows. Mm-hmm. And then what if you get that little dose every single day? Mm-hmm. All right? What if this little chemical combines with that little chemical and creates a third chemical? We don't know what's going on. Anybody that tells you that we have everything under control is a liar.
Right.
Okay.
And that's a great point, Barry, because I think when they test these chemicals, if they test, because I think it's less than 200 of the 85,000 that you mentioned have even really ever been tested for health and safety. They're testing that one chemical, right? They're not testing that chemical in combination, like you had mentioned, with other chemicals that we're getting exposed to.
That's correct. They're not testing. And now, why are they not testing? So there's 2 points that everybody needs to understand. We trust, the typical average person trusts. You walk into the store, something looks nice and pretty, we assume that it's fine, but that's not the way it really works. So why aren't chemicals tested? So there's 2 reasons. One reason is that there's no law that says you have to test. We live in the Wild West. We really do. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's no law.
That's true. Yeah.
And then there's a second reason. The second reason is that there is a law that chemical manufacturers do have to tell their employees about the dangers of the chemicals in their plant. That used to be called the MSDS sheet, Material Safety Data Sheet. Today it's called the SDS sheet, okay? But there's a big loophole in that one law. The big loophole is if you don't know about something, you're not legally obligated to tell your employees.
Oh, wow.
So for liability purposes, believe it or not, many, if not most, manufacturers don't want to know.
Right. Why test it?
If they don't know, they don't have to say anything.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah.
And that's the reality of the marketplace. All right. So now,
would you say it's a self-policing industry then? The chemical industry?
It's a non-police,
well, I guess, don't they technically have to test for, say, flammability we're going to get into that, but acute short-term issues, just not long-term?
No.
They don't even have to test for that?
No. Now, we'll talk about flammability, whenever you're ready, we'll explain flammability. There are certain specific requirements that they have to meet, but that doesn't mean that they have to test the chemicals for what it will do to people's bodies.
I see.
Health.
Okay.
Those are two separate ball games.
Okay.
Wow. I was really impressed, Barry, by the inspiration behind this too. So I know many years ago, you were shopping for your first grandchild's crib mattress, and you were troubled to discover the state of the baby mattress industry in general. And it was at that moment, it led you to start Naturepedic. I think that's what an incredible launching pad that you
what
made
a great grandpa.
Yeah.
What a great,
that's right. What a great
grandpa.
He was a great grandpa.
That's
he was
like
a great
the ultra
grandpa.
grandpa.
Not a great grandpa, but a great whatever. He was an excellent grandpa. Is that a better?
Okay, so let me give you the big picture. All right. let's first go back and understand the background. So I went to engineering school. I'm a board certified environmental engineer. I've been chasing chemicals for a long time. I'm certified by the Institute of Professional Environmental Practice. I'm a certified hazardous materials manager. So if you happen to own a landfill, I'm able to help you with your landfill. You know, I'm an author of a textbook for government institutes on environmental assessments and so on. Okay, certified by the Ohio EPA, so on. Anyways, in engineering school, the joke was the solution to pollution is dilution. Very funny, except not so funny at all. Because back in 1970, when I was in engineering school, Lake Erie was dying. And I happen to live close to Lake Erie, okay? And why was Lake Erie dying, okay? So we have to understand one fundamental point, which is more important than anything else I'm going to say in this whole program. The fundamental point is something that I learned back then. In 1870, when industry started dumping their toxic waste into the lake swallowed it up, no problem. 1890, no problem. 1910, 1930, 1950, no problem. 1970, big problem. What's the lesson? The lesson is, do you think you're gonna just sit there and dump toxic chemicals into the environment and get away with it? No, you're not. You're gonna pay the price.
At some point, yeah.
Okay, so that's the fundamental lesson. Now let's take it to my grandchild. Later on, after I understood the issues with Lake Erie, I also understood, you know what, that applies to me and you and our kids and, you know, and our grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to sit there and dump toxic chemicals. You think they're not going to be affected? You think there aren't kids today who aren't sick because of all the toxic chemicals that they're somehow getting? Okay. Yeah. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. And there are kids who are sick, developmental issues, all kinds of issues. And nobody even knows where it's coming from. Well, I'm telling you where at least a lot of it is coming from. It's from chemicals.
Chemicals in our water, in our air,
everywhere.
In our seafood.
Everywhere.
Yeah, the seafood. And even when you go back to that 1970, when they were dumping the chemicals, you know, the sea life, the aquatic life was getting that pollution, even if like we hadn't seen the results at that point. It's really scary. And it's really scary. We just interviewed a senior scientist from the Environmental Working Group talking about PFAS and the nonstick chemical and that, and that, you know, it's found in virtually every single person that they've ever tested has it in their blood, and that we're getting that mainly through water, although there's other sources too. And I know we're going to get into that and how that correlates with mattresses too. But speaking of mattresses, this is, you know, for listeners who think, this is just, an overpriced mattress. Why would I need an organic mattress? And when people hear the word organic, they think of food. So why is it important to have an organic mattress or bedding for that matter?
Okay. So I'm answering this question and also the previous question. I'm still getting there.
Okay.
So what happened 17 years ago or so, 2003, my wife sent me to a baby store to get a crib mattress for our first grandchild. So to make a long story short, the surface is vinyl with a chemical called phthalates. So vinyl is actually polyvinyl chloride. Polyvinyl chloride comes in two forms, hard and soft. When it's hard, it's called PVC, like your PVC pipe. When it's soft, it's called vinyl. The way you get to vinyl is you add a chemical called phthalates, plasticizer. The problem is that chemical is a carcinogen, okay? And it doesn't stay into the vinyl. It evaporates into the air. When vinyl gets hard, it starts to crack on you. All the phthalates are gone. It's going back to the hard PVC. Okay, and the babies are breathing this stuff. All right, and then underneath you have polyurethane foam, which is made with all kinds of questionable chemicals. And then polyurethane foam, because it's mostly petroleum, it's highly flammable. So then they got to put flame retardant, you know, chemicals in there to try to keep it down. And then there's formaldehyde and pesticides and GMOs and glues and you name it, it's there. So here I am in this baby store and just looking at everything, and I just don't know what to do because I can't, you know, I'm not going to buy this stuff. It's not good for anybody, certainly not for a baby.
Right.
But the moment of truth was when the the person at the store, the salesperson, said to me, "Oh, come on. If it wasn't safe, the government wouldn't allow it to be sold."
Yeah,
That
we hear
was,
that all the time.
yeah, that was like a moment of truth to me. You know, and I came home that night, I'm kidding around with my wife, and I said, you know what? My grandfather slept on straw. We happen to have Amish neighbors. Why don't we just go get some straw? I know. It sounds,
Sleep in the barn.
it was funny. I was sort of serious, you know. Yes, no, I don't know. I just didn't know what to do. So we made a mattress and we put it on the internet and people started sending me money. And I go, whoa.
But it wasn't straw. It wasn't a straw mattress, was it?
It wasn't a straw mattress.
Okay.
All right. So now to answer your question, what's a typical mattress? So a typical mattress is mostly synthetic materials, lots of chemicals, lots of flame retardants, and you're sleeping on that. So think about it for a second. When you go to sleep, what's the point? The point is you want to revive your body. You want your immune system to regenerate. You don't want to be fighting these chemicals all night long. What's the point? Okay. But nobody pays attention to the mattress. I mean, you walk into somebody's home, they'll spend all the money they can possibly afford on the nicest dining room set. And if they
flat screen TV. Yep.
Yeah. The best TV, the best sound system. And then when it comes time to go to sleep, they're sleeping on God knows what, and God knows how old it is, and what's in there, and what's growing in there. No one's paying attention. And guess what? From the moment you walk through the door into your home to the moment you walk out, where exactly were you most of that time?
Your bed.
You're in bed on that mattress.
Bed, yeah.
And nobody is paying attention. So
I agree with that, Barry. It's that out of sight, out of mind. I think because of these chemicals that you're talking about and these materials, well, we don't see them. We definitely don't see the chemicals. And like you said, when you go to shop for the mattress, you don't get a list of the chemicals. And people don't even know polyurethane foam is derived from fossil fuels, a petroleum product. And I think Ron and I, like when we first got into this business, heard the average mattress is like a barrel of crude oil, like you're sleeping on a barrel of crude oil.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to just throw on a pretty duvet and think that your bedroom looks great, right? And not pay attention to really what's under there.
Yeah, your typical queen mattress, if it's a polyurethane foam mattress, which most are, you're sleeping on about 20 gallons of petroleum.
Oh, wow. 20 gallons.
Oh, wow.
20
my God. That's a good stat. Yeah. If that's not a wake up call, listeners, stay tuned because there'll be more zingers coming up.
Hey, Barry, that sounds so crude.
That's crude. It's crude. And your skin's your largest organ. And so you're breathing in these chemicals and your skin's absorbing chemicals. And it's like, no wonder you feel like crap when you wake up.
So Barry, you went from basically hay to organic. How did you make that transition? How did you get there?
Well, we did a little bit of research and then we realized, first of all, we realized that the biggest problem is we live in a petroleum society. Okay. You open the door to your home and look around and what's natural and what's synthetic. And you'll be shocked at how much is synthetic. And it's basically petroleum based. We live in a petroleum world. People don't quite see that. People don't never, but that's the bottom line. So what you have to do is say, okay, how do we get away from the petroleum and the synthetics and how do we get away from all that stuff? So there's, you have to go natural. Okay. But what does that mean? Okay. And what does the word natural mean? You see, we're starting to get into advertising terminology.
Greenwashing, right?
Greenwashing means people are just making things up, or they're going part way, or they're making something look more natural, and they're calling it green.
Yeah.
There's no regulations. So what's green? No, it's whatever you want it to be. What's natural? It's whatever you want it to be. What's eco-friendly? It's whatever you want it to be. There's no rules, and that's the problem. We live in a world where there are no rules or no regulations. you can do what you want and get away with it. The government's not going to come after you because there's no rules.
There's no rules. Yeah. And I mean, that's really common. And you'll see a green packaging and they'll use that. They'll use the colors. They'll use the leaves to make it look environmentally friendly or call it green. There was a cleaner that Ron and I were interested in years and years ago, and it was called organic something. Come to find out, there was nothing organic about the cleaner. They literally just slapped that term on there. Now, at least the USDA, does have the National Organics Program, which oversees that labeling. But I think you can still just use the word organic and get away with it. But if you want something organic, you do have to look for those third-party certifications.
All right. So let's talk about that for a minute. Okay. There is one difference when it comes to the term organic. For the other terms, natural, eco-friendly, green, there's no regulations whatsoever, no matter what. When it comes to organic, it's important to realize something. There are regulations if the product is an agricultural product. So when you walk into the supermarket and you want to buy some apples or oranges, okay, if it's going to be called an organic apple, it has to go through the USDA organic program, the National Organic Program, NOP, all right? And that is a nice program. And that program is regulated by the US government. However, that word organic is defined only for a agricultural product.
Right.
All right. So the minute you have a product that's not agricultural, whether it's a mattress or a shirt or anything, the USDA doesn't care, doesn't get involved, pays no attention to it.
Right.
So people get confused on the word organic because it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about a mattress, there are no rules. All right.
Right.
You can put the label organic all you want and you'll get away with it.
Yeah. And we talked about that at the prior to the show, Barry, that's very confusing for people. So the cotton is an agricultural product. So the cotton can be certified organic, but not the entire mattress because there's other elements in there, right, that aren't agricultural. So listeners, when you're shopping, you do want that certified organic wool. I guess wool would be considered, right? Wool, or wool, cotton, and those things, but you can't get the entire mattress. So,
but let me also just point out, even if the cotton is, when the cotton is on the farm, and you want to call it organic, in other words, you want to sell just raw cotton, and you want to call it organic, yes, the USDA program would apply. But once that cotton is put into a product, the USDA doesn't pay attention anymore. So even if you're just talking about the cotton and you're calling the cotton organic, if that cotton is in the mattress, the USDA is not paying attention.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Good to know. I hope that clarifies.
But you can say it was sourced from organic cotton, right? It was made.
You can say that. So there are certifications, and let's talk about that. But these certifications are not USDA certifications. They're voluntary certifications, and I'm happy to explain those.
Yeah. Let's go through some of those because we're going to talk about the materials that you'll typically find in organic, natural, sustainable, eco-friendly mattresses would be, we can go through those, Barry, the wool, the latex, the cotton, all of that.
So the biggest single material, for many of us is the cotton. Okay. So there's cotton fabric. We use cotton. All our surface coverings, is cotton fabric, is organic cotton fabric. Okay. Fabric made from organic cotton. The fill inside is organic cotton. Then there's organic wool. Then there's organic latex. Organic latex is a little bit of a different animal because cotton is grown on a farm. Wool is grown on a farm. Latex is not grown on a farm. Latex is made in a factory. So the organic certification for latex is a different certification, but you can get a quality latex certified. So you take all these things, you put it together and make a comfortable mattress. And then you have to add other things like steel. But for example, with the steel, we make sure that we're not using lead in the steel. Okay. or mercury or things like that. And then there's other things that we'll use for this or that. And the idea is not to use things that are toxic. In other words, we have to meet a standard.
Right.
And the main standard for organic is called GOTS, GOTS, which stands for Global Organic Textile Standard. That's the main standard if you want an organic mattress. All right. If it's certified to the GOTS standard, it's certified to GOTS, then it's going to be a pretty decent mattress in terms of.
Now, how hard is it to get that certification? Is that a difficult process?
Yeah, I mean, you're not making the mattress the way you make typical mattresses. It's a totally different, totally, So people ask me sometimes, organic mattress? Is there straw in your mattress, sir?
There
almost was, Barry. There almost was.
Like what does that mean, organic mattress?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have to explain a couple things here. Okay, and believe it or not, and this is not a sales talk whatsoever, a well-done organic mattress is more comfortable than a typical mattress.
Oh, yeah.
More comfortable.
100%. Yeah.
And I'll explain to you why. Okay. So first, there's the fact that you're not imbibing all these chemicals. That's number one. But in addition to that, there's a big difference in terms of comfort between something that's petroleum-based and something that's natural. For example, I'm wearing a cotton shirt, okay? So I'm not wearing a polyester shirt. Why cotton and not polyester? Why do people prefer cotton and not polyester? Because
I don't like the sweat.
Breathe. Yeah.
Cotton breathes. Polyester makes you hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
Because polyester is petroleum.
Right.
So if you're sleeping on a mattress and you have a polyester fabric and underneath it's, polyurethane foam or whatever, you're going to get hot and sweaty. When you walk into a typical mattress store,
Right.
they're going to tell you about all the cooling gel. Everybody's selling.
Yeah, I know. They're so big right
what's
now.
that all about? They're adding these chemicals called cooling gels in order to bring the temperature down, so you're not so hot and sweaty. If you're sleeping on an organic mattress, you don't need cooling gels.
Right.
You're not going to get hot and sweaty to begin with. So an organic mattress, well done, is going to actually be more comfortable than a typical mattress.
Yeah. And for listeners who are hearing this for the first time, latex. So natural latex is derived from the rubber tree, right? It's the white sap that we see in the, come out of the leaf. If you pull a leaf off a rubber tree and squirt it, that white substance is extracted and then manufactured, correct, to create the foam. Barry, you can chime in on that, but maybe tell us a little bit about that and why that's so much better.
Yeah, so it's made from a natural material that comes out of a tree, just like maple syrup comes out of a tree, the sap. The same thing with latex. Now, prior to World War II, all the latex on the market was real latex. It was natural. But since World War II and forward, most latex is really petroleum. It's really not latex. It's all synthetic. Okay, so we are one of the few companies that have gone back to the original latex that came out of a tree, and the latex it's a natural product. It's a relatively natural product, not made with all those synthetic chemicals, and it makes it's very comfortable, without all the chemicals.
And then you have a certification that sure. says, yes, this is natural. Okay, so this is an area people can get greenwashed, right? They think they're buying a healthy mattress, and the manufacturer is telling them it's latex, but it's actually not latex. So are they going to be getting a lot of VOCs from that?
Absolutely, because it's mostly petroleum.
It's mostly petroleum.
There are two standards that are accepted by GOTS. One is called GOLS, GOLS, Global Organic Latex Standard. The other one is the Rainforest Alliance Standard, FSC. Both of those standards are accepted by GOTS, and both of those are, if they're used in an organic mattress, then that's good.
Okay. That is very good to know. And you guys also, I know Naturepedic also has the Greenguard certification,
Correct.
which is a certification for anyone who's curious on the off-gassing of chemicals. So they have to go through stringent tests to receive that certification, which goes for a lot of different products, not just mattresses, but that's a great one too to look out for.
Right. So there's the Greenguard certification. It doesn't cover everything.
Right.
I'll give you an example of what it does not cover. Okay. They don't test vinyl. They don't test the phthalates in vinyl. Okay. So if you have a baby mattress, this applies to baby mattresses, not to adult. If you have a baby mattress and you have vinyl on the surface and it's off-gassing phthalates, the Greenguard test will not test for that.
Oh,
so
interesting.
You know, this is a whole different topic. Not all the certifications on the market are perfect.
You almost need it's like you're creating a cake, right? It's a recipe and you've got to get all the great ingredients together to make this perfect cake, in this case, a mattress. And instead of having one certification at the end, it's like all the ingredients need their own certification.
Sort of, right.
Sort of. Okay.
And UL or Greenguard is owned by UL Underwriters Laboratory. They have another certification for formaldehyde. So of course we're formaldehyde free. So So that's
a separate certification. Then you need a separate certification for the formaldehyde.
Well, you don't need it, but they offer it. Without getting into too much detail, there are many certifications.
Yeah.
And some are better than others, and some do this and some do that, and it becomes, to be honest with you, for a typical person, there's no way to figure out what's what.
I mean, we've been doing this a long time and I'm already learning a lot. It's like crazy. Yeah, you can see how the average consumer easily gets greenwashed.
Yeah.
Well, there's been so many certifications and things that you mentioned, and we're familiar with Naturepedic, and I know there's so many wonderful things about the brand. But from your perspective, can you tell our listeners what really makes you stand out from the rest?
Sure. So, I'm gonna sort of shock you a little bit. Let's not focus on organic. Let's focus on comfort. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And let me explain it from the perspective of comfort, because when you go to buy a mattress, if it's not at least as comfortable as everything else, you're not buying it. I learned that lesson from a health food store. I was talking to the owner of a health food store, and there's all these organic candy bars,
it's true.
At the front. And the point was, you know what? Sometimes you get one of those candy bars and you bite into it and you go, I'm sorry, but this just doesn't do it. I need my Hershey's chocolate. I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay. I got to have that Hershey's chocolate bar. The point is that if it's not comfortable, then you're not going to sell that mattress.
Right.
You got to make it comfortable. So we're changing the definition of comfort. So here's how we look at comfort. Comfort, number one, means no toxic chemicals. Okay, that's the first definition of comfort, but that's just one definition of comfort. Is no toxic chemicals. It's got to work for your immune system. All right, but the second definition of comfort which is what we just talked about a minute ago, and that is it has to be comfortable and you're not going to get hot and sweaty. So you got to design that mattress so that there's nothing there that's going to make you hot and sweaty, and we do. Okay. And we're way ahead of everybody else. And then we take it a third step. We go even further. And that is, when you're looking at a mattress, why can't you look under the hood? Okay.
Right.
Nobody knows what's inside that mattress.
Yep.
Okay. So what are they really putting in there that they're not telling you? Okay. So we decided for most of our adult products, not all of them, but most of them, certainly the more expensive ones, we put a zipper along the side of the mattress. So you can unzip the top and flip up the top and see everything that's inside.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And then if you can see everything inside, let's take it to the next step. Why don't we give you, the consumer, the customer, why don't we give you the right to choose the firmness that you want? Most mattresses, you take it or leave it. It is what it is. Well, with our latex, we have soft latex, we have medium latex, we have firm latex. With our coils, we have a plush coil, we have a firm coil. So what would you like to sleep on? Would you prefer to sleep on Jell-O? We'll give you Jell-O. Would you
Organic
like to
Jell-O.
sleep? Yeah.
Have you ever been asked for hay?
No.
Wasn't there a company, Hastings or something? Didn't they?
Yeah, there is.
Hey?
Yeah.
Well, and also, Barry, thank you for breaking that down. That's amazing. Yeah, because you don't have anything to hide. So you're not afraid to show the consumer what's there.
So let me just explain that. You can order whatever firmness you want, okay, anywhere on the scale. So we make the mattress more comfortable, even if you don't even if you don't care about chemicals. We'll still you still want our mattress because it's more comfortable.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So there's the toxicity, there's the heat, the hot and sweaty feeling that you don't want, and then there's just the ability to get whatever firmness you want. There's some people who want it soft. There's some people who want it really firm, and we can do all of those in an organic mattress.
What's the most popular, just out of curiosity? What's the most common that people like? Medium?
Yeah, a medium
firmness.
There,
yeah. Okay.
For example, on the West Coast, we get a lot of people from Asia, and they want to sleep on concrete.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they want it really, really firm. Other people who want it as mushy as possible.
That's funny. Yeah, we definitely all have our personal preferences. So tell us, just to switch gears a little bit, what is a modular mattress? What does that mean?
Oh, that's what I was just talking about, where you can build your own mattress.
Okay, build your own, like Build-A-Bear workshop, but it's build a mattress with Barry.
So basically, we give you the exterior encasing.
Okay.
And then we'll give you, let's say it's a typical, what we call an EOS classic. You'll have a layer of latex over a layer of coils. Okay. So you pick your latex, soft, medium, firm. You pick your coils, the plush but then it gets even better. You have 90 days to change.
After you have it in your house?
After you have it in your house.
Oh, wow.
If you, within 90 days, if you say, what, I may have liked it this way in the showroom, but I want it softer, or I want it firmer, or I want whatever, or it's too soft at the top, I'd rather it firmer on the top, or whatever.
That's incredible.
So we will exchange whatever layers need to be exchanged at no cost.
Okay.
At no cost. So within 90 days, you're going to have the most perfect feel. And
because it does take time. It's hard to tell in a showroom sometimes.
Yeah, 10 minutes in a showroom doesn't always give you the best. Yeah. But then let me, it gets even better for two reasons. One reason is that, let's say 5 years later, you want to change the feel of the mattress. You don't have to throw out the mattress and get a whole new. You can just unzip it, and we'll help you, of course. And we'll just you'll have to pay for a component. Right. You'll just have to pay for one component.
Wow.
You don't have to, and now there's even another reason, which is better than all the other reasons. And guess what? If you're sleeping on a mattress, why do you have to put up with what your partner wants?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
And why does your partner have to put up with what you like? So
Thank you so much, Barry.
A lot of marriages can be saved by this mattress that you're about to tell us about.
So each side of the mattress can have a totally different feel. So you pick what you want, your partner picks what he or she wants. And like you said, once again, when you walk through the door to your home, where are you spending most of the time? You're spending most of that time on a mattress. Yeah. You might as well enjoy it.
You may as, it's an investment in your health. I always tell people that. People, it's so expensive. Yeah, but it's an investment in your health. And when you look at the life of the mattress, it's not expensive. And now what you're saying, this upcycling sort of concept of, now as a consumer, I would pull out the layer and then you guys would send me a new layer and I'd put it in and then zip it.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, that's very, very cool. Good for the environment. Good for your health. Good for your changing needs, because you might like soft at one point and then later decide you want it firmer, like you said.
That's right.
And I don't know any couple that has the exact same preferences. So having that split is incredible. And you guys, I want to do a little shout out, Barry, because you have retail stores. A lot of online mattress companies do not. So you're really just taking a jab when you order online, but you have retail stores across the nation where you can go in.
We have somewhere close to 20 retail stores that are Naturepedic only.
Okay.
They're called Naturepedic gallery stores across the country. And then, of course, we're sold by regular retailers as well.
Okay,
so,
great to know.
There's actually hundreds of stores that you can walk into.
Wow.
And take a look at a Naturepedic mattress.
Okay, that's good to know. Major
really
stores, like, give us an example. Like,
I don't know, Pottery Barn.
Pottery Barn? Oh.
Sure. There's all kinds of stores.
Wow, guys.
Restoration Hardware. I mean,
okay,
Macy's,
now we're talking.
I think, is carrying our mattresses now. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Excellent. So you have no excuse not to be sleeping healthier and better.
Hey, Barry, we're going to go over this in another show with you, but if you can answer this, I'm curious. So why do mattresses contain flame retardant chemicals in the first place? We didn't really talk about this in detail. Can you just give us a brief teaser for our next show with you?
Yeah, because most mattresses are highly flammable. If the mattress is filled with petroleum-based materials, that's a very flammable mattress. Now, without trying to just scare everybody, in your grandparents' days, when there was a fire in the house, you yelled and you screamed and you got everybody out of bed and you ran down the steps and you got out of the house. Today, more times than not, they're all dead. Everybody's dead. And you'll see whether it's on TV, and the smoke is halfway up to the sky. Okay. Mm. Well, what's going on? What's going on is that today it's all polyurethane foam and highly flammable materials. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's why they have to do it. Now, to be a little bit more precise, in the 70s, when polyurethane foam became the dominant filling material, people were smoking. Smoking was a lot more prevalent back then. And some people would smoke, and then they'd fall asleep, and the cigarette would drop down, ignite the mattress, and boom, a couple minutes later, they're dead. All right. So the government, there was a big outcry in the 70s, and the government made a regulation that mattresses have to meet a certain flammability standard, and that's what. And then there was a second regulation later on, and so the people making mattresses, they're not trying to hurt anybody. That's not the point. Mm-hmm. But if they're using polyurethane foam, they have no choice. In order to pass the test, they have to add flame retardant chemicals, and that's what they're doing. Okay. Right. We don't use any flame retardant chemicals whatsoever. We don't need flame retardants.
You don't need them because
we don't need them.
The wool is naturally flame retardant, right? The wool.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so for listeners who don't know that, so what Barry's saying is these chemicals like chlorinated tris and these polybrominated chemicals and all of these other hormone disrupting and very toxic chemicals to our body, but also to the planet, are found in your traditional conventional mattress. Whereas when you buy an organic mattress, a natural green, safe, wool is typically, but there are even other materials that are natural, that are safer, that meet the flammability standards without having to expose you to more toxic chemicals. That's so huge. Which brings me to my next question. What would you say is the most dangerous toxin found in most mattresses, conventional mattresses, to children? Would you say it's the flame retardants?
Frankly, if you're talking about a crib mattress, the most dangerous chemical is just the one right at the surface, the phthalates that are coming right out of the vinyl.
Okay.
Because that's coming right out of the vinyl, right into the breathing space of the baby.
Yeah.
That's going to be the singular most dangerous item. Let's talk about a baby mattress for a minute.
Yeah,
let's. Okay. So in a baby mattress, there's a separate issue, and that issue is hygiene. All right. With a baby, you have urine, you have bigger messes, you have drool, you have vomit, you have spilled milk, whatever.
Anyone on the fence about getting pregnant? Just now thinking about it.
How do you deal with the hygiene? All this stuff, if you don't waterproof the mattress, it's all going to soak into the mattress. The baby turns over and is breathing into this. You're creating excuse me for being a little bit rough, but you're creating a cesspool.
Yeah.
And then the baby's going to breathe into the cesspool. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Okay. So if the mattress is not waterproof, that's the problem you have. So then if you're smart, you're going to waterproof the mattress. But then you have a different question. What are you waterproofing it with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you're waterproofing it with vinyl, okay, you can clean it. You solve that problem. But now the baby's breathing the phthalates coming out of the vinyl.
Right. Especially for their developing body.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to use vinyl, so then maybe you're going to use some other chemicals, okay, some perfluorinated compounds, PFAS or whatever, and that's also toxic, okay? So we are the only ones who came up with a better solution. We use a polyethylene made from sugarcane, it's made from
Sounds sweet.
Not
the baby's going to eat it.
Sugarcane. So we can waterproof it, keep the mattress hygienic, and at the same time protect the baby from all these toxic chemicals.
Interesting. So it's your own patent? Do you have a patent on that?
Yes, we do.
You do. Okay. So a mom is going out shopping for a natural, healthy mattress, and they don't go to Naturepedic. What are they using then? Are they using vinyl, even though the mattress is considered organic or healthy?
The organic,
or are they not putting a waterproofing on it?
They're not putting waterproofing at all. So
okay.
There's they're organic, but it's not very hygienic.
It's not hygienic. And then maybe they're also getting a waterproof cover, which is still going to off-gas chemicals. Okay. Yeah. Wow, that's really very
great
cool.
solution, Barry. That's really nice.
I did not know that, so I love that.
Well, I have an off-the-cuff question for you, Barry. So if you can make one big environmental change in the next year, what would you do? What would it be?
All right. So you're going to be sorry that you asked that question.
Mattresses?
There's only one way to solve. We're not talking about mattresses now. We're talking about the big picture.
Yeah. Big picture.
There's only one way to solve the problem that we all have. And we all have this problem. Okay. The problem that we're being overrun by toxic chemicals, and there's no way to stop it. The problem is that we live in a society where you are innocent until proven guilty. Well, when it comes to chemicals, I do not agree. You are guilty until proven innocent. The law should be you cannot make a chemical unless and until you prove that it's safe. Right. And there needs to be a standard. The EPA or whoever needs to create a good, healthy standard, and it can be a different standard for a baby crib, for example, versus something else. That's fine.
Yeah.
There needs to be a standard. And if you're in the business of making chemicals, you can't just make what you want, and we'll see if the government catches up with you 20 years later.
Yeah, right.
Forget that. Forget that.
Yeah.
You're guilty until proven. Now, that sounds very harsh. You're guilty until proven innocent, but there is no other way to solve that problem.
Amen. Yeah. I think that was so well said. I think so many of the health issues that we face as a society, and these health issues aren't getting better. People think, oh, we have so much advancement in, pharmacology and all of this, the pharmaceutical industry, this, but people are getting sicker. And it's because, we have toxic body burdens. And I love how you talked about, our planet has a toxic body burden. Our oceans are having a toxic body burden. Our air, our water, even the food that we're eating. So if we don't get to the root of the problem and stop trying to treat things once it's too late on the other side, once someone has cancer, once someone has infertility and ADHD and all these learning disorders and things that are happening. And, we talked today about so many chemicals linked to hormonal problems. And a lot of people don't think about that, but your hormonal system is your energy, your weight, your mood, your temperature, your reproductive, all of that. So, and all of those ailments are skyrocketing. So that was a great place to end this, Barry. I Love what you said. Let's all do something, do our part to change that. And I think we change that by supporting companies like Naturepedic, making choices with our dollars, shopping with our dollars. Our voices are everything. Manufacturers will respond to our demands.
Yeah, thank you so much, Barry. And Barry, for sharing your wisdom, your passion with our audience. Friends, run! Don't walk over to Naturepedic to shop for a certified organic mattress. And don't forget to use Ron and Lisa 15 to save 15% on the healthiest bedding for the whole family. So that's Naturepedic. That's naturepedic.com. So nature, naturepedic.com. And head over to ronandlisa.com for a chance to win a mattress from Naturepedic.
Ooh, you don't want to miss that, guys. Thank you again, Barry. This was great.
You are very welcome, and thank you.
We'll see you next week. Stay tuned for the next episode with Barry, because we're going to get hot and heavy with flame retardants, and you don't want to miss it. Bye.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.